Okay, so let me bring you in. We're really holding. I think we should go from where we're holding. We're holding Siv Dalid. But let me bring you into the Torah from the outside. And we'll spend 10, 15 minutes getting there, then we'll go into Siv Dalid. This Torah was a Torah that was said, first of all, Shabbos Tshuva. And the Torah was said, and the Rebbe said this Torah has all the side of all the Kavanas of El. Which El, we know, is the whole, everybody knows, Shulchan Aruch tells us that the whole side of El is Anila Doidi V'Doidi Li. And as the Lubavitchers like to say, that there is a Hamelech Basada. The king is not on his throne, he's not in the palace, he's in the field, he's right next to us, he's here, and we have the ability to talk to him, not as the king, even though he is the king, but he has the ability to talk to him, to be able to come to the place of tshuva. And this Torah is a Torah of explaining what is tshuva and how does tshuva work. And it's very deep. It's a very, very deep, but we're going to try to get it at a very surface level, enough to understand that, how we can take it out practically for ourselves. So the Rebbe is basing the whole Torah on a pasuk, Pashas Vayelech, where the pasuk says, it's talking about when Moshe Rabbeinu is going to be nostalgic from the world. And the Rebbe Shalom is calling Moshe, he says, call over Yeshua. Moshe crows Yeshua, bring Yeshua here. And that's the day of the transition between Moshe Rabbeinu and Yeshua. And the whole Torah is based on this understanding of this transition between Moshe and Yeshua. The Rebbe comes, he goes through a Kedarka B'Kodesh, he goes through themes that seem unrelated b'chlal, and at the end he brings it all back together as one, and he says that this is the pshat and the pasuk, which is the pshat that the Rebbe was masik when he said these psukim. So what is the Rebbe saying? So we're going to leave the pasuk of Moshe. So we're going to come back to it. The Rebbe builds a building. Now the derech of Likutei Moharan, b'chlal, is very, very, like you said, it's a deep sefer. But first of all, you have to know that the Rebbe said that you need no Hakdomas to learn my sefer. That means not even Aleph Beis, you need to know. But to learn his sefer, you don't need to know Kabbalah. And everybody can learn his sefer. And the Rebbe says that each person he's talking to directly, part of the Sichel of the Nishma is in the sefer. So that means if you listen to the words of the Rebbe, you'll feel that he's talking to you directly. How did he know? All of a sudden you're going to say, this he meant to me, he doesn't mean everybody else. He meant to me because it becomes very personal. And that's the beauty. The biggest beauty of Likutei Moharan is that it becomes very personal. And as long as you open space for it, and you understand that Reb Nachman gave a lot of remedies, especially coming to his keva, right? We talk about Rosh Hashanah, coming to his keva and saying the Ten Kapitel, telling me promise to take out of Shaltachtis and Mitachta. But that is the tuffle of Reb Nachman, because he said the Iker HaTzadik Torah. The main thing with the Tzadik is his Torah. So that means that, and he said Panov Sichlev when he's departing from the world, he says, don't worry, I am Ichel Bleiben Zivishanaich. And he said Panov Sichlev, that means his face, his Seichel, V'nishmas, and his soul is all in his Torah. And he said many things. He said, when my Torah comes out to the world, it becomes a Christian for Mashiach. And he said that if you learn my sefer, you don't have to learn any other sefer. What did he mean? Not that you shouldn't learn any other sefer, but in this sefer is all the medicines, all the antibiotics for all our spiritual illnesses, all our emotional illness, and even all our physical illness. Everything here is in this Torah, and everything he explains mechanically. There's nothing that he tells you just kabel dati. He explains to you through the spiritual way how the mechanics work. Now, why does he do that? Because by understanding the mechanics, you get more awareness. When you get more awareness, you're able to heal yourself. So the Rebbe is usually very, very specific about, and you'll see in this Torah, he's very specific on the mechanics of the Torah. So what is the Torah over here? So this is the whole introduction. Now the Torah. The Rebbe says like this: there are two. What is covered? Covered.
Covered?
What is covered? What does honor mean? What does honor mean? How do you understand honor? If you give cover to somebody, how do you understand it? Explain it.
It's a feeling. You make the other person feel special.
How? What's the process? Let's say you want to give me cover.
Who looks up to me, who needs me.
I'm talking about the giver of the cover, not the receiver. I'm not talking about the receiver of the cover. I'm just bringing him into the Torah a little bit. Even though we're holding Sivdal, we're going to get there. We'll spend a few minutes just on the. What is the
giver of the cover?
Yeah. What if I want to give you cover? What am I doing?
Good question.
So what it is I see in you some kind of a midah that you have that's better than me, that I don't have. You have something in you that is better. So you have something that's better than me. You have something that's bigger than me. So I am machnia myself to you. So when I'm giving you covet, what am I doing? Let's say you're going into the president, or you're going to Rosh Hashiva, you're going to Tzaddik, you're going to think, you're putting on your best jacket, and your nice hat, and because you want to come mechubadik to the person, and you're watching all your words that you're talking. There's fear that's involved in covet. The Rebbe talks about it in different terms. There's fear, but what I'm actually doing is I am behaving in a certain manner where I'm giving you respect. My presence, the aura around me is I'm giving something from me to you. The aura is I'm machnia to you. So so far, so that's kavod. So Rebbe says like this: there's two types of kavod. The pasuk says kavod delikim haster dova. There's a kavod that's godliness, a spiritual kavod. Haster dova, that is concealed. That means it conceals. What does it conceal? Soon we'll see in a second, but it conceals. The kavod of godliness, just like God is concealed, His kavod, when you're giving the Rebbeinu Shalom's kavod, or you get the Rebbeinu Shalom's kavod, which every kavod is always the Rebbeinu Shalom's kavod, it's a kavod that has a secret to it. There's a secret to the kavod. Yes, you're getting kavod, but there's something more to this kavod. There's something hidden to this kavod. That's one, that's called kavod elikim. So if there's spiritual kavod, again, it's haster dava. The other pasuk says kavod malachim chakor dava. If it's the kavod of a king, shalom aleichem. If it's the kavod of the king and you're giving kavod honor to a king, that's chakor dava. That gets investigated. What's the difference? So the Rebbe teaches that kavod elikim haster dava means that this kavod is a kavod that no one's going to question. Are you worthy of this kavod or not? If you're doing something l'shem shemayim, even if you have other things about you that are not l'shem shemayim, but because you're doing something l'shem shemayim, the honor that you're going to get is not going to be an honor that's being questioned. Whereas if you're doing something for kavod malachim, not l'shem shemayim, what does that mean? We're going to get to it in a second. That is always going to be questioned, and someone is going to say, "Mi hu zeh ve'ezer," who is this person that's worthy of this kavod? You're not worthy of this kavod. So Rebbe says, what determines something to be kavod elikim or kavod malachim? So Rebbe says two words. If you are minimizing your honor and giving that honor for the Eibishter, that is kavod elikim. That's godly. You're mamayit b'kavod atzmai. That means you're taking something away. I'm doing something good, and now I'm getting honor, and I'm taking away my honor. I'm saying, no, it's not me, it's the Rebbeinu Shalom. If you do that, and obviously it's a process, because Memayit means I'm always minimizing. So today I took off one layer of kavod. I said, that's for Hashem. The next day I'm coming again, I'm taking another layer of kavod, I'm giving it to Hashem. That kind of kavod, nobody's going to question if you're worthy or not. The guy's trying, he's changing. He's really an Erlich Yid. He's not there yet, but he's changing. When you see a guy be about tshuva, right, and he's in this process of tshuva, and he means it for real. So even though he's making mistakes and he's still not there, but you see the realness in the person, you're giving him respect. You're giving him respect for that realness because it doesn't make a difference if he's not there. He's trying. He's going to get there. He's on his path. It's God. He's being mamayit b'chvod atzmai and marba b'chvod hamakom. Now, what's the opposite of being mamayit b'chvod atzmai, marba b'chvod hamakom? Is giving kvod malachim, which means instead of being mamayit myself and saying it's God, you're giving me honor. I'm making it even bigger. I'm bigger, and automatically. I was doing something good, but that's the Zaytik Gezach. The real thing is it's me. I'm the Hatzalah member. I am the volunteer. It's me, and I'm good at what I do, and it becomes about me. As soon as it becomes about you, everybody will question, why? Why will I question you when you're taking something to yourself? The answer is, we said this last time, and it comes out from the Torah, you can see it later in the Torah. The answer is, because you're taking from me. If you're taking something for yourself, if you're saying, it's me, then now you took something from me. Before, when you were doing it for God, and I saw your errands guy, you didn't take anything from me. So I'm admiring it from you. I'm giving you something. But now that you're demanding cover, you're saying, hey, it's me. Now you're taking something. If you take something from me, I want it back. So that's what the Rebbe says. So that is the avodah. The avodah is to be minimized every time everybody gets covered somewhere in something. Everybody has something that he's unique about. And everybody gets covered somewhere. So if you're being mamayit, you're minimizing the cover. You're getting the cover. And you're saying, no, it's not me. It's the Rebbeinu Shalom. Then nobody's going to question it. If you're taking it and you're saying, feels good. You just said a good shiur, and somebody comes and compliments you. I want to tell you that's really the challenge is in ruchnius much more than the challenge is in gashmius. Because in Ruchnius, that's a Chaim, I'm learning Torah right now. But I said it this afternoon. I was in Monroe. I have a call in Monroe. I said a shiur, and somehow Hashem lit me up, and it was the it was really. I got inspired myself. And the first moment when somebody said to me, wow, that was an amazing shiur. I never heard such a shiur Likutei Moharan before. The first moment I was embarrassed because I knew it wasn't me. It really wasn't me. But the second compliment that I got already started feeling good. And the third compliment started feeling even better. And that's the challenge. The challenge is to be memayed b'chvod atzmai and memayed b'chvod hamakom. The challenge is, and we're all challenged with this, and the biggest challenge in spirituality, you get a good davening. And your mamish is gid davening, especially if you go to the Rebbe's scene, and you gisachos the hearts, and you cry your brains out. And in the moment, your mamish right there, and all of a sudden, you walk away, and somebody walks over and he says, wow, I got so inspired from you. He's getting you covered, he means it, thing. And the first second that you hear it, it's like you didn't think about it. But the second that you hear it, wait a second, I inspired him. Let me go back. Let me inspire him more. Because it's a challenge. What I'm trying to say, it's a real challenge. Then in practicality, it's a challenge all the time. Because kvod atzmai is ego. We spoke about this last few times. I don't want to be mad at it. Kvod atzmai is ego. And what is ego? Ego means, Rosh Hashanah is edge God out. I'm pushing God away, and it's all about me. And what is ego? I'm really protecting my shame. Ego means, I feel vulnerable here. I'm feeling weak over here. I don't want you to see my weakness because I will be embarrassed and humiliated because you see my weakness. So what do? I take strength from somewhere else and I cover this weakness so you don't see this weakness. When Mela, I'm denying shame and I'm building ego. And that's really how ego is a way of building my false identity. I'm building a false identity because I am denying shame, because I don't want to meet my vulnerability, and I certainly don't want to meet my vulnerability in front of you. Even if I want to meet my vulnerability, but not in front of you, especially if you're married.
Yeah.
So you know, and especially you don't want to meet your vulnerability to your wife. The biggest challenge of ego is the wife, because the wife's always wrong but always right. She always has the wrong story, but she's always right because the story is somewhere else, and that we just don't want to fix ourselves. So the Rebbe is telling you, be memayed b'chvod atzmai, be memayed b'chvod hamakom. And then you get to this kavod l'kim. Says the Rebbe that you can't get to the kavod l'kim unless you do tshuva. Because you can't get to the kavod without tshuva. And ikra tshuva, what is tshuva? And these are the famous words from Rabbi Nachman, one of the famous words of Rabbi Nachman. Kishe yishma b'zyoynoi yidoy v'yishtoi. When a person meets shame, and he accepts it, when your wife embarrasses you, and your wife calls you out on something and she's off the walls, instead of, because by the way, by just being quiet is not good enough. Just want to tell you, some people, if you're like me, and you touch my ego, you touch my place of shame, Hashem gave me a mouth, I'll rip you to pieces. So my wife was a victim. Hey, you got a baby?
Yes.
Yeah, so he told me that. Mazel tov. So I'll rip you to pieces. But there are other people that they don't act out when they get shame, and what they do is that they're quiet. They suppress it. How do they suppress it? They look at their wife like a wacko. She's crazy. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go fix her. She's never fadult. So Memela, I don't, and then they're suppressing their anger. Their ego is getting built even bigger because they're not meeting shame. The only way to get rid of ego, and to not get rid of ego, but to minimize ego, is to accept shame. Accept. It's a very big part. It's not just being quiet. It's being able to accept ego. Says the Rebbe. So now, that is the ikra tshuva. So how come when I do this, it's going to bring me back to cover? So surface level, we could understand. Because what built my ego? The denial of shame. How did ego can only be built by protecting myself from shame. So that means I denied shame. How does it work? Let's talk about God, right? We're conditioning ourselves, and all of a sudden we're challenged with our urges, our addictions, each person with their urge, whatever it is, whether the urge is women, whether the urge is food, whether the urge is money, whatever the urges are, we all have addictions, whether with the addiction to anger. We're addicted, we're all nature's creatures of habits, and once you do something, once you do something one more, it all becomes nasal ket, means I become reliant on it, I become addicted to it. So we're all addicts to something. So how did we get there? Because we denied God. That means really, if there was a video camera on me, on you, on me, on any person on their Avera, and there would be a video camera, not God is watching you, but Binyamin Nezri is watching me when I'm doing my Avera, and not even when I'm doing the real Avera, just the prep to the Avera, the scene of the Avera. Would I be able to do the Avera? Absolutely not. Right? Today they have one of the things of protecting from going onto bad websites is that you give the ability for somebody else to see where you're going on the website. And that's a protection. Why is that a protection? Because if I'm going to go to wherever I'm not supposed to go to, I know that Rabbi Yochanan Eisenberg is watching me. And he could, even if he's not watching me, he could be watching me. And even if he's not watching me, he's going to get an alert that he's going to say, boom, this guy went on a website. How am I going to face it? So the shame protects me from doing the wrong thing. So how do I do the wrong thing? How do I do the Avera? The way I do the Avera is I deny the shame. Because no one's going to really, there's no video camera. What's the chance, even though today you can't do anything without being watched? Stop. There was a time, I'm 56 years old, so I'm a little older, and I'm a Melumed in Averis, so I know there was a time when you were able to do things that were not so kosher. Back in the day, who would know, who would see? Today, everything. There's no place that doesn't have a video camera, so it's possible to be exposed. It's just a limud. All this technology is a limud to understand that there's a possibility that there's big brothers watching. There's, they say today your phones, any phone, anybody who has a smartphone, or probably any phone today, it's recording you the entire time. It's recording you the entire time. The phone hears you all the time. It's not everybody's interested in what you have to, but Likutei, they're interested in what you have to say. The FBI wants to go get you. They, in 1 second, they know everything because you're always with your phone. It's always it's always recording the whole time. So if a person would understand one time he gets caught by the way, and I've had it, where your wife goes through your phone and she finds something that you don't want her to find. The shame. That shame, that humiliation that you have there, and you of course you deny, but you can't deny the facts. And when the facts are there, the shame is big. So it means that shame is a protection from me doing averos. If I would know that the Baruch Shalom is watching me, I would not do an avera. But because I don't,
ego, you're saying that's the ego? Or that's
the ego is edge God out. In other words, I don't believe God is here. God's in the Medrash. He's not here. What?
You're saying the reason you're stopping to do Avera now?
No, the reason why I'm stopping to do Avera is because I'm ashamed. So the shame is not my ego. The shame is self. Shame is self. That means, what am I embarrassed of? I'm embarrassed that a Chaim that knows of the Eibishter, that recognizes that the Rebbeinu Shalom is doing good to me all day long for 56 years, day in, day out. There is nothing that he didn't do. He made me born to this family, to this father, this mother, this brother, this sister, this wife, this children. Everything that I have is all you, and he gives me sustenance and life and good moods and enjoying life. All the things that he gives me and all the nachas that he's giving me. He's watching me the whole time. And I know this, but I can't help myself. I'm an addict. How did I become that addict? Because I didn't, in the first time, or the second time, or the third time, I once it's 3 times, then I fall into the trap. I'm done. And how do I protect that place? How do I protect that place? That's where ego comes. Ego comes and protects that place. It didn't happen. Denial. And what do you see? You see a nice guy. Look at him. He says, shiur, what a good guy. If you would know what really this guy is, you wouldn't be able to. But I'm trying to do Kvod Elikim. I'm trying. And I'm challenged. And we're all challenged. And everybody's challenged in the thing. But I'm at least in awareness that my challenge is always me. It's always the ego that is challenging self. The real self. The Chelik of the Chaim. So the Rebbe says, how do I do tshuva? How do I return back to God? The way I return back to God is by facing shame, meeting shame. Not that you have to shame Yichad. By the way, if you don't face your own shame, then most probably you're going to have to get shamed by your wife. And if you don't face your wife's shame, you're going to start getting, until it comes the shame, could chas v'shalom become a shame where you'll be embarrassed from everybody. So the point is that if I really want to do tshuva, now there's the time of tshuva. This is the chodesh of doing tshuva. And I want to return. Where am I returning to? I'm really returning to self. I'm really returning to my chelik elikayim out. And how am I doing tshuva? I'm going through shame. Now the Rebbe goes through the mechanics of how this actually works. And I don't want to spend that much time. I really want to go a little weiter, but I'll tell you in simple. The mechanics is that if I am accepting my humiliation, what really is happening is that where does the bizyonis come from? The Gemara says that kol amal ben chaver b'ram arei ze shofech damav. A person who shames his friend is being shofech damav. Why is it shofech damav? So the Rebbe explains another thing. You see that when a person really feels shame, he becomes bright red. Why? What happens? The blood rushes up to the brain. It's rushing up to the brain. Why? Because he's in pain. He's in pain. When a person is in pain, the damim, the first thing that happens, the damim, they run away. They run away from it. Where's this damim coming from? The heart. What's pumping blood? The heart's pumping blood. Which chamber of the heart is the heart pumping? The left chamber of the heart. The Rebbe says, and he brings a raya, that the left chamber of the heart is where the Yetzer Hara is. And the Yetzer Hara is pumping, and he's pumping blood the whole time. And blood is dam in Hebrew, and dam is gematria 44. The shame, ekia, which is anozam and heavy, which I don't want to get into. We spoke about this already 2 weeks. I want to go to the next thing. That shame ekia, which is the shame of tshuva, the shame Hashem that does tshuva, but in a hastara of shame ekia means that it's ekia not in its proper format, but it's in achorayim, which means the way it's one of the tzirufim is the way you spell out ekia, aleph hey yud hey. That's what the shame ekia. If you take that gematria, it's dam. So the Rebbe is saying like this: where is my bizyonis coming from? My domim. That's coming from my blood. Where is my blood coming from? The left chamber of my heart. What is that? The Yetzer Hara is there. So how do I shech this Yetzer Hara? You take dam and you change it into doim. What is doim? Doim means I'm accepting my bizyonis. I'm not fighting my bizyonis. I'm not trying to hide it with my ego, with kvod atzmai. I am accepting my bizyonis. So when I change the pasach into a cholim, that's when. How do I change that? By accepting my bizyonis, and then I make the libi chol v'kibi. I'm zeveyach hasitzur, and that's the mechanics. Like I told you before, but the Rebbe gives us mechanics. The mechanics of tshuva. That tshuva is the process of accepting shame, unlayering a layer of ego, unlayering another layer of ego, unlayering another layer of ego, until I'm able to come to the place that I'm bringing kvod elikim. It's not about me, but it's about you, Rabbi Shalom. And the more it's about you and not about me, that's going to be kvod elikim, which is hasder dava, which that's the ultimate goal of the world. Is the Eibishter created the world lechvod diberasi. He created the world so that we can find Hashem everywhere and bring honor to the Eibishter. Now we have this ability. How do we do that? We do that through tshuva. How do we do tshuva? Tshuva is yishma b'zyon yidam yishtok. This is part one. Part two, the Rebbe says that you have to always be do tshuva because you never get there. Why? Because even when we do tshuva, and we know this, right? Every Yom Kippur, really every day, we say Hashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Tzvidu. We're confessing to the Rebbe. We're doing tshuva, Hashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Ibadu, Doifi, right? This is tshuva. But when you're saying Hashamnu, are you really feeling Hashamnu? You're feeling, yeah, it's Yom Kippur, I'm scared. It's the one time a year I gotta face my shame. So yeah, Hashamnu, each person on his level, some people a little harder, some people a little less. But is he saying that Hashamnu and really never going to do this again? The Rambam says that a person who does tshuva has to acharot Allah, kabbalah la'osim, ashi yavod alav yodea talumas, until the one who knows all the secrets will be made on him, shalai yoshavot levato, that he's not going to go back to sin. So when you're doing tshuva, even when you're doing real tshuva, you come to Rav Nachman's cave and you really need shame, and you're really, really doing tshuva and taking it from a person with experience, you're leaving space in your head. In your head, I don't want to go there. I really don't want to go there. But you know, I said this last year, and I went back. I said this the year before, and I went back. And by the way, last year I went back more times than I went back the year before. So I know in my head I want to, but I don't know how to. I'm asking Hashem, please, I don't want to go back there. But in your head, I know. You know you're going to go back there.
Isn't he saying also that even if you don't go back?
Oh wait, that's the second step. That's the second step. Step one, because it's a process. This whole thing is a process. It goes from the lowest level, and each person has his level of aveira, because there's nobody that doesn't sin on his level of whatever sin is. So wherever his sin is, and that's where he's focused on. He's saying his main sin. We have a lot of sins, but everybody knows his main addiction, and he's doing tshuva on this main addiction. He's saying, I really, 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 really sorry. I'm never going to do this again. But in his head, he knows, and the Rebbe says that's normal. That's still called tshuva, and it's still going to bring kvod elikim. It's still going to bring you, but you have to do tshuva on your tshuva. You still have to do tshuva on your tshuva, because you never get there. And even if you did tshuva shleima mamish and you takament, you're never going to go back to the thing. The Rebbe says you still have to do tshuva. Why? Because your first tshuva was according to your understanding of your distance from God, and today, now that you did tshuva, you got a new recognition of God. So on your today's recognition of God, yesterday's recognition of God, you got to do tshuva on it, because I thought you're only this big, and today I recognize that you're even this big. So that means there's never-ending loop of doing tshuva. So the Rebbe is saying, "V'tzarech lecha is tamin b'midas hatshuva," and that a person always about tshuva. That's we all say that the biggest tzaddik, exactly the way he said, the biggest tzaddik is always about tshuva. And halavai, we should be about tshuva. I'm begging Hashem, I want to be about tshuva. We look at about tshuva like they're second-class citizens. It's not true. The about tshuva is the first. That's where we want to be. We just believe that we are special because we were born, into thinking this guy didn't know. So we have superiority. It's such sheker, mama sheker. Because about tshuva, halavai could be a real about tshuva. You know what he gave up? You know what he sacrificed? We sacrificed nothing. We were conditioned in this way.
The whole Likutei Tefillas, the King of the Tshuva.
Everything's about. I want to be about tshuva. I want to be about tshuva. Okay, so Rebbe then tells us another idea, that there's an idea of, as I do tshuva on my first tshuva. So my first tshuva that I did is Olam Hazeh. My second tshuva is Olam Haba. The Rebbe says a person that is Zoiveach his Yitzhak, a person who shechs his Yitzhahara, who slaughters his Yitzhahara, is Zoicha L'Ki'ilu Kimda L'Kadosh Baruch Hu B'Shtei Olamas. It says, if you Mechaber De'Eivishter in two worlds, in Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba. And the Rebbe explains that happens through this process of tshuva Rishona, my tshuva Rishona, and then my second tshuva, my tshuva Rishona is Olam Hazeh, my second tshuva is Olam Haba. So the question is, that if I always have to keep doing tshuva, what do you mean tshuva rishona? What do you mean? That means I'm always going to tshuva. Every day is a new tshuva, let's say, and every hour is a new tshuva. So there's hundreds, if I'm really doing the Eitz of the Rebbe, there's hundreds. The Torah says yes. In every level that I'm doing tshuva, there's a tshuva on that tshuva. And that tshuva, and the tshuva on that tshuva, at that moment, is Olam Hazeh, Olam Haba. When I go to the next level, so the tshuva rishona, that means it's the previous one becomes Olam Hazeh because I grew in my spirituality. And when I grow in my spirituality, so does my Olam Haba grow. So does my Kesser grow. If we go into the shemus of the Torah, which is Kesser. Okay, so therefore we are holding now. See, this is all introduction of bringing up to Siv Dalet. I see that we're not going to get much, but let's get to see at least the end of Siv. This, by the way, this very good. Thank you for reminding me. So this Siv Dalet. Oh yeah, so then we'll keep going. So the Siv Dalet. No, but I don't want to take up. I attention span, by the way, of people. They're limited, so I don't. Zog the Heilige Rebbe.
Make questions and answers.
Anybody wants questions, we can talk about it. Zog the Heilige Rebbe inside. Dalet, Siv Dalet. Kishiroit, by the way, this Siv, I believe, is, by the way, you have water? Can you bring me a water, please? This Siv Dalet is, in my opinion, talks to me the most. So I want to share it with you in the way that it talks to me. So I want to just say, I went to the yeshiva world. And in the yeshiva world, there was always Elul, which is Elul, fear. It was all about fear. And that fear hurt me because I wasn't able to stand up to the expectations of Elul. And maybe I did it day 1 and day 2, and by day 3, day 4, I caved and I went back to my addiction. And then, I'm an Elul. And so I'm hiding. Nobody should know. But inside, what did it do? It made me in Yish. It took me down. Brought me all the way down because I was busy with the fear of El. That's a fear. And the Rebbe has a whole different perception. This Torah is all about El. And it's all about, the Rebbe says, Kavanas El, which is mamish, the deepest part of El. So the Rebbe, and in the yeshivas, when we spoke about, if somebody had a Yerida, if somebody had a Pagama Bris, I remember the first time I went, I was 13 or 14 years old, 13 years old. And I used to walk to yeshiva. On the way to yeshiva, there was a car that had one of the, I was a little kid, I didn't, halavai, that should be my problem today. But there was a car that the air freshener in the car was a picture of, not a sneezing, a picture, to say it mildly, of a thing. I was a little kid. I didn't even know it was really, I didn't understand yet the world, but I was drawn to it. And I was, in recess, we used to play ball. I liked playing ball. I was so drawn to it that in recess, I didn't tell anybody. I used to walk around the corner, the whole other way, that nobody should chap that I'm walking around the corner. Ki'ilu, I'm going to the grocery store, I have to go get something. And just so I should go for 1 second past that car. And it really, really bothered me. So I went over to the Mashgiach, not the Mashgiach of the yeshiva, and I said to the Mashgiach, I have, it was bothering me that I'm doing this. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't help myself. And even recess, I can't help it. I got to go. I have to run around the thing. So he says, the thing is, so don't go. So don't go. I looked at him like he came from the moon. I'm coming to you to tell you that I don't know how to, I'm having a problem. So what do you mean, don't go? I could have figured that out myself. What do you mean, don't go? So I went to another Rebbe. Finally, there was one Rebbe that he had the patience, and he explained to me, he says, you're normal. First thing I remember, I'll never forget this. You are normal. I thought I'm the only guy in the class. I'm 14 years old, 13 years old, whatever the age was. I'm the only guy in the class, and everybody else, look, how come they don't have what I'm struggling with? He says, you're normal. And let me tell you a little secret. You know that guy, the best boy in the class? He also told me that he saw the same exact thing that you're seeing, and he has the same struggle like you. And that Rebbe saved me. But it was even him, it was like a secret. He was telling me a big secret that the other guy is also a guy that's thing. Because in yeshivas, we don't talk about falling. We don't talk about falling. This heilige Rebbe, this heilige tzaddik, not only does he talk about falling, but he teaches you that you have to be an expert in falling. And that's what this sif is about. This sif is not just telling me about your fall, and meret nishdefin, or okay, meret yodefin, you fall. No. This sif is telling you, teaching you, guess what? Just like you need to be an expert in climbing, you need to be an expert to climb in spirituality. You also need to be an expert in falling. He's telling you how to fall to teach you. By the way, in the army they have what do they call the division that they fly in, the Navy SEALs or whatever it is, and they come from the airplane and they parachute down. Do you know that if you ever, or a person who ever did skydiving, if you ever skydive and you open a parachute, you think, oh, you'll see the guys falling from the air. It's so easy. If you don't know how to land, you kill yourself, even with the parachute. Why? You need to learn how to land. If you don't know how to land, don't go up. You can't climb. One of our biggest mistakes in spirituality is that we get inspired and we climb and we don't know how to land. Because the inspiration takes you up to a place that is higher than your caleb. It's higher than your ability to think, and you get this inspiration and the delight, and you feel so good about yourself at the moment, and as soon as you come down, crash. So you need to learn how to land. You need to be an expert. So the Rebbe is telling us, if you want to go, you want to really return, you want to make this El Toshim Pei to Rosh Hashanah Toshim Pei Vav, this El is going to be the El that I'm not going to do it from fear. I'm going to do it from a real recognition, a real understanding. I'm 56 years old. Each person should make his own calculation to himself. And I know I promised you again and again and again, and each time I promised you, I failed again and I failed again. But this time I want to make it count. So what am I going to do different? What's going to change? What am I going to change with my mahalach? What's going to be the change here that I'm going to do different? Says the Rebbe, if you want to go really in the derech of tshuva, not just that doesn't mean your tshuva is not tshuva. Even if you do tshuva like this, it's also tshuva. But you want to go in the derech of tshuva. You want to go in the derech of tshuva. You have to be a baki. What do you mean by halacha? So pashtus, it means baki in the hilchas tshuva, right? But baki bahalicha. I'm a bederech. If I'm going in a way, how do I go in a way? I'm going bahalicha. I'm walking. I'm going in the way. And how does a person walk? How do you walk? You realize how you walk? One foot goes back, and one foot goes forward. And then the other foot goes forward, and the other foot goes back. And that's how you walk. The only way to walk is to understand that when I take one step forward, I'm taking one step backward. But that moves me forward a little bit. And then another step forward and another step backward. So I have to know equal. If I only knew how to go forward, I fall on my face. I'll fall down because I need stability. And the stability is when I'm going backwards. So I need to be a baki b'halacha, which is halicha. The Rebbe says, by the way, we say it every day. We say, al tikre halichos, el halachos. What's the... Torah, right? So we say, kol shon halachos b'chol yom, mufta kol yishu beno, shenema halichos, oilam loy, al tikre halichos, el halachos, right? So that means halicha and halacha is really the same thing. In Torah Beis, in the second chalik, the Rebbe talks about this whole thing of halacha and halicha. It's mamish. Halacha means, what does halacha mean? It's the guidance for me to be able to go find Hashem everywhere. If I follow halacha, it's giving me saying that even though you're in this exposed world, in this huge tumadiga world that everything says there is no Hashem, you want to find God, you want to find spirituality in this world, you need to know how to go. Here also the Rebbe is telling you, if you want to do tshuva, if you really want to do tshuva, I'm going to teach you a way that it's going to work this time. I'm going to teach you a way that Tavshim Pei Hey El and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur Tavshim Pei Vav, you're finally going to come to the place where even you will recognize that place, That place, I'm done with that place. I'm not there anymore. How do you do it? Because you're baki ba'alacha. What's the baki ba'alacha? V'tzarach sheyeh lios lo shnei bekiyos. You need to have two expertise. Hainu, baki b'ratzoi, v'baki b'shoiv. You need to be an expert in ratzoi, means to run forward, and baki b'shoiv, and an expert in going backward. K'mashe kosev, like the pasuk, like it says in the Zohar, zakah man da'ayil v'nofik. Merit is the person who knows how to go up and he goes down. The Rambam says in Tehillim, "Im esek shamayim." If my business, my esek is in shamayim, shamata, you're there, Hashem. Vatzia sho'oli neko. But if I am in the down, listen to the words of the Rambam saying, "Vatzia, I make my bed." Vatzia, you know where I make my bed? In Sha'ol. You know where Sha'ol is? You know this place, Sha'ol Tachtis. You know what Tachtis means? It's a bottomless pit. It's a pit that doesn't end. It just goes down and down, down. There's no bottom. And Mitachtov is, I don't even know what that place is. Mitachtov, what the Rebbe said. We're going to talk about that in a second. So says David HaMelech is saying, Vatzia Sha'ol, when I make my bed in Sha'ol, I'm living there. I'm not just visiting there. I am right now in Sha'ol. Hineko, you are there. I'll tell you a story. We are Frieds, the Breslov family. We're a bunch of brothers, and we like to debate a lot, and it could get very heated debates. So one of my brothers, who's rather shimmy about tefillah, one year, about 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago, Rosh Hashanah, we had a real debate, and my brother screams at me, and he says to me, "I just want to tell you, this is what you got wrong." What did you get wrong? He says, you are chasing your high of spirituality on your highest high, and you're constantly trying to chase that feeling, that place, when I was a bacha, and I was getting up chatzos, and when I was serving Hashem, and I was showing my bris, and I was and all the time, I'm chasing that place, so you're never going to get there. My brother's telling me, you're never going to get there, because the only way to get there is to connect to Hashem from the place that you're in now, and you're in Shol, he tells me, and you're in Shol Tachtis, so you have to connect. He said these words to me, he says, and you have to connect to the Shmitzige Eibishter. He's like got angry at me, he said, the Shmitzige Eibishter. You tell that to a regular person. He said, the schmitzig, the dirty, Rabbeinu Shalom. So beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing he ever said to me. It took time, years to hit into my head. Yeah, we're always, when we decide we're doing tshuva, okay, that's it, today no more. And you get up in the morning, I get a vesikin, and I'm going to have his this, and now I'm learning halakha, and I go, jump, boom, crash. What happened? Because you're not connecting to God from your place. You're connecting to God from the place that you want to connect to God, because that's where you think you need to connect to God. David HaMelech is telling us that the place of connecting to God is wherever I am, and if I'm in Sha'ol, so I'm connecting to you. Hineko, where are you? I know you're here. You're everywhere. So I know you're here. I'm connecting to you from this place. So the Rebbe tells me, if I know that even when I don't have the feelings of God, I'm not in the mood of you. You know how many times I go for this place, I say, Rabbeinu Shalom, I take a coffee, you sit back and you go, good morning. I got to tell you, I'm really not in the mood of you today. Not in the mood. I really want to run. I want to edge God out. I'm in the mood of feeding my ego. I'm in the mood of feeding myself. I am ready. I'm not in the mood of you. Not in the mood of you. And then you say, but at least I'm here to tell you that I'm not in the mood of you. Because I really want to be in the mood of you, but I'm not in the mood of you. So either help me to feel that I'm in the mood of you, or let me run and don't say anything. Shh. We got this deal. I made peace. Yesterday I was in the mood of you, but today, today I'm in the mood. You know what I'm in the mood of? Ich will. Everybody with his ich will. But if you know that you could talk to the Rabbeinu Shalom and say, Rabbeinu Shalom, I don't feel you. My mamas don't feel you today. I'm really not in the mood of you, not because I want to be in the mood of you, but I'm not in the mood of you. Please open my heart, like Ronazan says in Likutei Tefillah. Please open my heart and bring me up to. I saw it in the Akdama of Shtapchas HaNefesh. So he writes, it's so beautiful. He brings a whole. I don't want to go into the whole thing. He brings a Gemara and a Tosis and a Mashah with he proves that even though Hakol b'dei Shemayim chutz mi Yiras Shemayim, even though Hakol, we know Hakol b'dei Shemayim chutz mi Yiras Shemayim, I can't. Yiras Shemayim is telling me. But it's not true. He brings a Mashah, that the Mashah says, I'm not going to the whole Torah of it, that the Mashah says, that even that you can ask for. And you see Reb Nosson in all the Likutei Tefillas, he's constantly asking, Rebbeinu Shalom, open up my heart, give me Yerushalayim, give me Yerushalayim. A person could ask, Rebbeinu Shalom, I want to run, but I'm asking you, please, I really want to connect to you, but I want to run, but I want to connect to you. And that gives you the bekiyas, the expertise. Slowly you get to learn and condition yourself that if you're able to talk to Hashem and to connect to Hashem from the low, then the high will have a sustenance. Just like when I'm walking, we said I need to go backwards and I need to go forwards. That's how I become an expert. I just want to finish the sif and then we'll bring in anyone who wants to listen. We'll talk about going to Rosh Hashanah. This is El. I am to my beloved, that my beloved is to me. Ani l'doidi, I am to my beloved. Zebechinas ayil. I'm going up. I am to you. I'm coming to you, Rebbeinu Shalom. V'doidi li, zebechinas v'nafik. V'doidi li is when I'm going back now, Rebbeinu Shalom. I need you. Before I was in the mood of you. Yesterday I was in the mood of you. Today I'm not in the mood of you. I need you to open my heart. I need you to connect to me. Don't let me run away from you. Says the Rebbe, this is the soid that we want to know. What is the kavanas of El? If I want to get to the highest place, just ask Hashem, I want to be an expert to climb, and I want to be an expert faller. Please help me. And that is the main kavanas of Hashem. And you're going to be mechabed him from doing his drachecha in his ways. Drachecha is a lashon rabbim. It's not a lashon yochid. What do you mean in his ways? More than one way? How could there be more than one way? Hainu ayil v'nafik. There is two ways. There is the going up and the going down. When a person has these two bekiyas, then he's going to Darkei Teshuva and he merits the covenant of Hashem. Hainu shezoicha lekesa. He's zoicha lekesa kilas kavod b'leichav v'oz yimin Hashem pshuta lekavod teshuva. And then the person is the Eibishter is stretching out then to be Mekabel Teshuva. In short, next week I will review this because we went through very, very fast. There's a lot to unpack. So this sif is the key to the whole Torah, in my opinion, is in this sif, because the whole Torah is in this sif. The whole Yishma B'Zioni, the Yishtak, the whole Kvayid Atzmei, the whole Marba B'Kvayid Amokim, the whole Tshuva Al Tshuva, everything is in this Bekiyas of being Baki B'Rosei V'Shoim. So Belina, the next week we will continue, we'll review this again. But what do we go out from today? Let's just conclude with this, to go out with this understanding. That the Rebbe is telling me an eitzah here, how to do tshuva in a way that's going to be different than all the previous tshuvas that I did till now. Because all the previous tshuvas that I did till now, I know by myself that I always left space. I left some kind of a space to go back to my addictions. But and what was I missing? I was missing this understanding of how to connect and become an expert faller. Because when I'm in falling, when I'm not feeling you, Hashem, what do? It's the place where I want to run. It's my bayreach. I have a bricha. I want to run away. I want to run. So now, so the Rebbe is telling us, if you learn to be an expert, and how do you learn to be an expert faller? When you connect to Hashem, the Shmetzige Rebbeinu Shalom, when you're connecting to Hashem from the lowest place. So I just want to say one thing. With this, we'll conclude. Binyamin is going to be upset that I'm not giving it with enough energy today. This afternoon, I gave it today with. If you want to hear it, it's in Yiddish, by the way. If you want to hear it, it was like 10 energy, but the energy is, it's 10 o'clock at night. The energy went down. Yeah, I do, by the way. I take them anyway. So the point is like this: that the Rebbe takes responsibility. Look, he gives his Torah all remedies that are proactive remedies and reactive remedies. If he tells you how to not sin, he teaches you how to change, and he also always gives you a tikkun no matter what you did. And there's a tikkun for everything. There's nothing that, even things that the Zohar Kodesh said there's no tikkun, Rav Nachman gave a tikkun. So this Rebbe takes responsibility. He takes responsibility for every one of us. And if we're learning his Torah, how could we not do something that he asked to do, not for you, but for him? And he asked, and he said to make a cruise, to make an announcement. So this is the official announcement over here. We're making an announcement, the cruise, that Rosh Hashanah Sheli, Oila al-Hakol. The Rebbe said Rosh Hashanah was given to me, b'matana. The tzaddikim don't understand it. Nobody understands it. I got the Rosh Hashanah b'matana. And I'm asking that every Yid, Ish Bal Yeda, nobody should be missing. I take responsibility for you, but don't come for me. The Rebbe said, Yoga David, Nishga David, Yoga Gessen, Nishga Gessen, Abi, Yoga Shluf, Nishga Shluf, Abi Zaba, Rosh Hashanah. This Rebbe that took responsibility for my ruchnius in this world and the next world, and I'm learning his Torah, said to come to him for Rosh Hashanah. And he's saying that the reason why you're coming is not for your selfish needs, that you're going to get memela. I'm going to give you everything that you want because I'm always going to give you. I'm going to take you out of Shom. But come because I need your neshama. I need you for ticket oilam. So I don't know who's planning on going and who's not planning on going. But if you're already planning and you're already going, givaldi. And even if you're not going, at least open space to want to go. To understand that this tzaddik is not just a regular tzaddik. This tzaddik is a tzaddik ha'emes that took responsibility. Tell me another tzaddik in history, other than Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, that said, was maftiach, and took responsibility for every Jew. Not one. I'm sure they do. They're a bigger tzaddik. I'm not saying he's a bigger tzaddik, but he said it. And if he said it, we have to listen to what he said. Even if we can't do it, for whatever reason we can't do it, open space. Open space to understand. Be mamayid b'chvoid atzmai. Take away my ego, my discomfort. It's a 30-hour trip. It's a this. I'm going away from my family. I should go away from my family for Rosh Hashanah. My father doesn't want me to go. I should go. My wife doesn't want me to go. Do you care about your spirituality? You know, we invest. Everybody invests here. You invest in the stock market. There's something called hedging. You know what hedging is? I buy a stock for $1,000. I'm not sure if the stock is going to go up or not. So I buy the stock that it's going to go down. Like it's an insurance that I'm not going to lose all my money in case the stock goes down. If it goes down to a certain point, I'm covered. If it goes more, it's not messed up. But if it goes up, so I bought an insurance policy. I hedged. So if you have a Amunas Chachamim, you're going to go because you believe that this tzaddik took responsibility. He told me to come. That's not questionable. I'm moisin nafshi to go to this tzaddik for Rosh Hashanah. But let's say you're not at that madrega yet, because everybody's going to get there eventually, right? Everybody's going to come to this place because everybody's going to better himself. And the only remedies in Toshim Pehei 2025, the only remedy, there's not like there's other. The only remedies for today's challenges is spoken by this Rebbe. Nobody speaks like this. Nobody talks about a full sefer about Pagama Bris. Nobody talks about Pagama Bris. Who tells you how to be an expert in falling? Nobody talks about it. This Rebbe is talking to you, to every one of us. This Rebbe that gives this remedies is telling you, come for me because I can be Mesak in the world. Let me ask you, if you knew that you were that guy, that the whole Geula, you're the last neshama that he needs. He needs you to come to his Rosh Hashanah. Your wife, your father, your mother, your brother, your uncle, your zayda, your baba, money, that, no excuse in the world. What? I'm going to bring the Geula? Maybe you're that guy. Maybe you're that guy that the Rebbe is waiting for. He said, I need every neshama to come in order to bring the tikkun oil. You're putting him on the spot. So I'm not. I'm schas. All I'm trying to do is open space that, this is what he said, and I'm going there. By the way, and I'll give you another secret, you could go there. Don't worry if you're worried that you're going to become a Breslov Chazan. You don't. You can stay Gerach Chazan, you can stay Satma Chazan, you can stay whatever. He doesn't care. He just wants you to come closer to the Rebbeinu Shalom. So we should be Zoicha to do tshuva, and to really do tshuva that's different, and be a Baki Barotzi, Baki B'Shoyev, Baki Ba'alacha, and to know and believe in Amunas Chachamim that this tzaddik took responsibility to me, and we should be Zoicha to not go to the Rebbe for Rosh Hashanah, but that this year, Toshim Pei Vav, we should go to the Rebbe in Yerushalayim, Mir HaKodesh, with Mashiach Tzidkeinu B'Meher V'Yimeinu.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Very good.
I don't get this to
Thank
stop.
you very much.
You're welcome. What? I don't know how to.